They say America's the melting pot, but Antwerp's got its own recipe for mixing cultures. And trust me, it's just as flavorful. Dante Bellon, a journalist at the Antwerpen Gazette and former parliamentary assistant to Annick de Ridder in the Flemish Parliament, has seen firsthand how this diversity influences both policy and storytelling. Let's hear his unique perspective on the opportunities and challenges of representing a city as diverse as Antwerp. First of all, Antwerp and overall Belgium is not only multicultural, multilingual country as well. Do you often have to cover specific news about different communities here?
Yeah, I think you already mentioned a few minutes ago, like the news from what's happening in Georgia at this moment, the manifestations in Antwerp and Brussels, etc. For example, also last week we had demonstrations about Syria. It's very, and I know that for sure we, as a more regional newspaper, we are a national newspaper, but we cover mostly the region of the province of Antwerp. It's very important for us because I think in the city of Antwerp itself, it's already like 190 different nationalities, so very multicultural as well, very multi-religious as well. We try to make our group and our news more cultural than I think we did 20 years ago.
How do you navigate more of complex and sensitive topics regarding the different cultures and people from different backgrounds here in Antwerp?
I think we don't. I think we just do our job, if you know what I mean, if you understand what I mean. We bring the news as neutral as possible, and if it's cultural related or something, or a very sensitive topic, of course we call experts and we use them in our articles, but so that they can maybe make it less sensitive or something. Or
have you or maybe your colleagues have encountered the moments where, let's say, representing all of the cultural communities equally was a little bit challenging? Especially
in news or in now in
in the sense of not only about the people from different ethnic and cultural background, but even in Belgium, like you have the Flanders, you have Wallonia, you have there somewhere German speaking side, all representing all of these is a little bit challenging, or at this moment you focus more of a Flanders, Antwerp region?
In Flanders the newspapers and television stations are mostly focusing on what's happening in Flanders. Even in that's a good point that you made. Even in that case, it's already difficult to, There is always one moment in a year that even that at least one journalist, doesn't matter who, says we don't know very much about each other.
And from your perspective, what is crucial issue facing multicultural communities in Antwerp that doesn't get enough attention as it should get, maybe?
That's a tough question.
You can
I think maybe the positive news about what, and please excuse me for my words, but the positive news from people that have migration routes. We don't see them too often in the news with positive things, and I think that's maybe the thing that we can still learn so much more about, and I think that's a thing that we still, as media in general, must do very much more about it. I now see that VRT, so they, like, instead of 5-6 years ago, there are more and more people with an ethnical other background on TV, on radio, cultural other background, or I don't know. And I think that's a very positive evolution. It's necessary as well. Like, if it's very important that people living here also feel represented, in not only on the streets but also on the screens. or in the newspapers, or that's a problem we have. We cannot, people won't come to us. I don't know why, but it's difficult to find people with cultural other background for working for us, but at least VRT is finding them, but we can do more about it. It's very hard to find people, and it's a pity that they don't find the way to us.
Oh.
Yeah, and
what do you think, where is the problem here? There's no enough human resource, or maybe the HR doesn't work the way it should?
I hope HR does its thing, what it has to do, and take the people that are good in this job. And I hope it's not our fault. And I still hope, and that's something we, at least weekly, monthly, we are talking about how to bring them to us. Okay. Because it's so hard to find,
Wrap up the interview, as we already mentioned, Antwerp's cultural richness sometimes brings the complex things with itself. Mm-hmm. And how do you think politicians and journalists can work together to address this situation?
I don't think they have to work together. Okay. I think it has to be, and I'm happy it's very separated, and I think it has to stay separated. Like, politicians doesn't have to tell us what we need to bring us news, and vice versa. We don't have to bring politicians the solutions for what's happening, or we can write about it, but we, in an interview, maybe we don't have to tell, maybe you should do that, or maybe you can do that. Should they tell us how to write our things or how to bring our articles? I also don't think not.